Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. All right, and welcome to this course one more time. Here is the unit 3, the last lesson from chapter 1. Right, in this chapter I will teach the topics that I would like to cover. What is a sentence, the definition and kinds of sentences in English. Then I'll move on to discuss simple sentence, and I will focus on the basic formula of variations, the 4 possibilities of a simple sentence. So what are the learning outcomes of this lesson? By the end of this lesson, the students should be able to recognize simple sentence variations, the 4 possibilities that I'm going to explain, then to construct simple sentences correctly. Right, so let's get going. Let's start by the definition of a sentence. What is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that has at least one subject and one verb and expresses a complete thought. Right, so let's have this example. He goes to school every day. Right, so we have the word he, which is the subject of the sentence, and then we have the verb goes. So and this it is a complete sentence. It expresses a complete thought. The meaning is intelligible to the reader. Good. This is just only one example. Next, what are the kinds of sentences in English? There are actually 4 kinds, not the 3 kinds as you can see, but here I limit myself to 3 kinds because this is what we are going to concentrate on in this course. What are those 3 kinds? We have simple, and this is our lessons today. We'll focus the first one. He ate an apple yesterday. We have compound, where we have two simple sentences joined together. I ordered the pizza and I bought a bottle of water. Right. Then finally we have what is called complex, right, where we find one dependent clause while the other independent clause. Right, like although I was dieting. Right, this is dependent clause, and this the next part of the sentence, which is independent. I ordered the pizza, and we'll explain those two, the compound and complex, later in chapters. So as I said, today I'm going to focus only on simple sentence. So what is this simple sentence? This kind of sentence has one subject and one verb. But before we get to the variations of this type of sentence, let's understand what you mean by subject. Subject is the doer of the action, the one or the thing that does the action. Tells who what does or did something. As for the verb means the action itself or the condition. The action like jump, work, write, think, right, or the action is, was, seem, appear, and so on. That's what we mean by subject and verb. So the simple sentence must have at least one subject and one verb. Like the sentence that I've already said, he goes to school every day. Right, here we have examples like filmmaker George Lucas, right, has changed the film industry in many ways. Filmmaker George Lucas is the subject of this sentence. Right, as for the verb, it is has changed, right, that's the verb. A second sentence we have, one new technology, right, was a special computer assisted camera crane. Here again we have the subject is one new technology. This is the subject of the sentence. As for the verb, it is was. As you can see here, the first sentence, the verb of the first sentence tells what the action has changed, like writing, thinking, working, while the second one here, new technology, was the verb expresses what, the condition, right, the condition. Now let's move on to the next part, which is about what, the basic formula. There are 4 possibilities of simple sentences in English, right? And as you can see, the S here stands for the subject and V stands for the verb. we could find, you know, the first possibility is what, or variations, let's say, right? In the first possibility, we have just only a subject and a verb. Like the Star Wars movies, this is the subject of the sentence, and were is the verb. This is the first one, you know, formula, okay, or the first possibility. And the next possibility, we have two subjects and only one verb. Like this sentence, young people, this is the first subject, you know, adults, the second subject, and as you can see, they are joined by, you know, the word and, right? And we have what, you know, enjoyed. This is the verb, right, of this sentence. Now let's move on to the third possibility, where we have just only one subject and two what, verbs, right? The films entertained and thrilled audiences everywhere. So the films, this is the subject, and we have entertained, the first verb, and thrilled, the second verb, right? And both are joined by the word and. And the last possibility we have here, okay, two subjects and two verbs, right? Luke Skywalker and his friends. So Luke Skywalker, this is the first subject, and the second subject, his friends, right? As for the verb, battled evil. So battled is the first verb, and made us, here made is the second verb, right? So one more time, we have four possibilities for the simple sentence in English, okay? So we have, you know, S standing for the subject, just only one subject and a verb, or the next possibilities, we have here two subjects, verb, right, one verb. The third possibility, we have only one subject and two verbs, or we have two subjects and two verbs, right? As for the, you know, the exercises we have here, on the question, choose the correct formula pattern for the following simple sentence. So my friend and I went to New York City, all right? Here we have two verbs, two subjects and a verb. My friends and I, those two subjects and the verb, you know, went. For the next one, he was a teenager then, right? We have just only here the subject and one verb, which is was. As for the third, she completed her literature review and created her reference list. So she is the subject, just only have one subject. As for the verbs, we have two verbs. The first one, completed, and the second one is created. Right. That's all, okay, for today's lecture. Right. Thank you very much.